Spiders here. I'm 7 seconds late because my battery remote's not working. The battery in the remote's not working. The Spiders back for 111th Grey Cup. Spectacular. I don't know. You call it surprise? Just unbelievable. Triumphant victory by the Toronto Argonauts over their favorite, heavily favored Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are supposed to win this Grey Cup and be a dynasty. 3 out of 5 lost the first 2, went to 5 Grey Cups, imagine, and now lost their last 3. So this is what we're going to get into. But I had to figure this out, what was going on. My remote battery is dead. So I've been messing around trying to get on. I'm sorry, but I got to go for it now. I had to crawl underneath my set. Spider had to crawl like a spider. Man, like a spider. To get in the set here. Anyway. Anyway, here's a toast of the Toronto Argonauts. I got their logo up. See my Canada t-shirt back there. Hey, NFL, eat your heart out. Oh, I mean, I watched the highlights after the Grey Cup. I mean, I spent Grey Cup Saturday, Grey Cup Sunday, all the way up to the Grey Cup and post-game and everything. And it's ridiculous. TSN, you should be ashamed of yourself. You're American run or they're not Canadian. Show a little bit of Arbuckle speech and a little bit of highlights and go all to outdoor arena football with a little tiny little field. Looked like a joke. What a joke. Well, their game's a joke. All about money and hype. Look at the quarterbacks. They look like toothpicks, right? The outdoor arena football. What a joke. Compare it to our game and eat your NFL game like for lunch. You know, come on. It's all about money and hype. Come on, your big your bbig stadiums. It's a big snow job like Randy and Brosy, which I'll get into the last session, but I'm already 2 minutes in. I got to get going. We got to talk about the 111th Grey Cup. Anyway, you know, let's talk about some of the festivities that were fantastic. The Canadian country guy that went on, and the countdown he was pretty good. And the place was filling up. And by the way, it was 7:45 Atlantic Canada time start, not 6:45. So I wonder why it wasn't filling up. My God, it was a big crowd there. You know what? It was almost full. 54,500. I bet there was over 53,000 there. There wasn't many empty seats, which means they had a surge in ticket sales at the end. Good for them. Here, cheers for the Toronto Argonauts, 111th and Grey Cup. Okay, champions. You know, hey, the Argonauts, you talk about a dynasty, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, dynasty, no dynasty. How about the Argonauts, right? They won in 2022 in Saskatchewan. Yeah, I'm sorry, the Grey Cup last year was in Hamilton, and they lost to the Alouettes, the Bombers. 5 straight Grey Cups, this 111th Grey Cup, and they lose 3 straight. Won the first 2, won 3 straight, and the Argonauts have won 2 out of 3, so if they win next year, they'll be the dynasty. And by the way, the Argonauts have won 19 Grey Cups, more Grey Cups than any franchise. And by the way, when I was growing up as a kid, as you can see from the old Argonauts, I was a real Argonaut fan. They were my first favorite CFL team, the Argonauts, me and my brother. And now the last 8 Grey Cups, I believe the Argonauts went in, they've won, so maybe the Argonauts are the dynasty, not the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You got to win 3 Grey Cups in a row to be a dynasty. But I think, you know, 3 out of 4 would be a dynasty, wouldn't it? Anyway, the Argonauts. Anyway, so just wanted to cover a little bit of that. So let's get into the game itself. Well, Canada was well sung. I liked the cello, the acoustic guitar. It was well done. They always boo that part that Trudeau, he's hated, by the way, that he changed. You know, they play the race card. This is like the Edmonton Eskimos. Bring the Eskimos name back, you new owner. Morris, bring it back. Don't call it the S or the Eskies. Don't be ridiculous. Don't play Trudeau's. He's out of... Don't pay Trudeau and Bozy and Dozy's race card, like almost destroyed the Edmonton Eskimos. And Brosy, you're fired! That's the next session we're going to get into. Things that happened in the Grey Cup and things that come out who actually voted against. That's my last one. It's going to be good too. Stay tuned, back to back. But anyway, let's get into the Grey Cup. Arbuckle, third string, basically, quarterback. What a story. Chad Kelly goes down with a broken leg in the third quarter, and the Alouettes comes in, and they beat the Alouettes by 2 points in Montreal in the sold out Molson Stadium, and the Alouettes were heavily favored. The Alouettes would have beat the Bombers too. They would have beat them. I'm telling you right now. So let's get into the game. Well, the way it started off, my CFL red zone rule really was shining in the first quarter when the Argonauts were down the 1 yard line. Let me tell you, my CFL red zone rule in the Grey Cup would have been a lot better because the Argonauts wouldn't have tried to fake it on. And by the way, Arbuckle should have hiked the ball. The Bomber was offside the 1 yard line, went at 1st and 10. He blew it. Of course, he didn't see it. I guess he should have saw it. Nothing against Arbuckle. He was fantastic. 70%, 26 out of 34. Come on. I mean, yeah, he missed some plays and passes, but anyway, it wasn't all his fault, and he did for the amount of time he had to work with DeWitty to get the game plan down, and what he did in that Grey Cup is unbelievable, really. He was a big part of the win, but so are their special teams, and so are their defensive play. We're going to get into all that, so we're going to cover, we got to get rolling along here, like, the film, going to keep rolling, okay? So yeah, in the first quarter, like the Argonauts were on the goal line, 3rd and 1, and they kicked an easy, boring, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goal. If my Spiders CFL red zone rule, they wouldn't have done that. They would have won for it, 3rd down, 1 yard. They wouldn't have turned over the ball or fumbled or forced outside the red zone. They would have got Spiders CFL red zone kick for 3 points because my Spiders CFL red zone rule is an enforcement rule. That's how great my rule is. And it would have been way, way better. It would have been way better. It's there every single CFL game, just staring the CFL right in the eye, just waiting to be adopted. It's there. And it's a natural, it's tailor-made for a CFL 3-down game football. Make our CFL 3-down game football way more exciting, way more entertaining, unbelievably full of drama in the red zone, and most super exciting and most significant and the biggest CFL rule ever adopted by the CFL, and probably of all of professional football. That's how big it would be if Spider CFL red zone rule was wisely adopted by the CFL. Now we're in Brosie's. It's out. I'm going to have a full court press on, and I'm going to go in that briefly. I think next that's how I'm going to do this to get my CFL red zone rule adopted. Wisely adopted by the CFL. Let's get into the game. So that's what happened. They kicked the field goal. So it was 3-0. Then, I knew that the Bombers would probably, and a lot of people thought they would run Brady all the time. Canadian MVP, the most valuable player, all of the CFL season, but they didn't. They only ran him 11 times, right, in the whole game, right? But they were exploring what they said. And by the way, Bo Levon Mitchell said all of them on the panel, except for one, said they were going to get killed because Bo Levon Mitchell said the Argonauts, because they said they had no secondary, no defensive backs, were terrible, right? They're going to explore them. That's what they did. Claris explored them, went down. The first one was a big bomb to a Lawler, but they had 3 Canadian secondary defensive backs all over him. Yeah, and then they hit him with a big one. Yeah. And that's what resulted. Actually, hit him with a big one, then hit Wilson with another big one, and then they brought in Wilson, backup quarterback, for a quarterback sneak. I think on the 3rd down, I believe, on the 1 yard line, or in the 2nd. But I think it might have been in the 3rd, and they went for it. It might have been in the 2nd down, but he rolled off and got in for the touchdown. So they went up 7-3. Or it might have been 7-0, and then the Argonauts scored the touchdown. But I think Argonauts had the first 3 points. It was 7-3 then. Okay. So anyway, what happened in the by halftime? So I'll roll up a bit so we have more time to talk. Winnipeg were doing the same thing, throwing the ball down the field, and they got stopped in the 10-yard line. And they got stopped in the 10-yard line on 2nd down, and they kicked another field goal. So it was like 10-3. And then the Argonauts come back and got 2 field goals. Okay? Actually, Arbuckle played well. He had some big plays. and it ended up being 10-9 going into halftime with the Jonas Brothers. They were lip syncing some, but they did sing some live, but they're not really my cup of tea. But they had it was a good halftime show. And here's the numbers. I'm gonna get, before we get into the second half, here's the numbers for the Grey Cup. 100th Grey Cup, 100th 11th Grey Cup in Vancouver, which they did a fantastic job, by the way. Very hugely successful. Excuse me. Okay, so the French audience numbers were down considerably. I mean, way down, because Montreal was in it last year. I mean, does that mean they're separatists? I don't know. It doesn't look good. I hate to say that, but let's hope not. But it doesn't look good. You got to support the CFL. Come on, you know, French Canadians, or I don't want to call you separatists, but you got a separatist government. So anyway, and the numbers indicated it. You're that biased? I thought you support the CFL. Like, come on. But way down. Way the frig down. Like, from 700 some thousand, way down, like 150,000. It was ridiculous. But the English audience was up because of CTV, combined with TSN. But CTV come on at 4:30, the pregame on Sunday, and they didn't have anything on Saturday, but the TSN come on at 2 o'clock, which is fantastic. They did a fantastic, Sunday pregame. It was fantastic. So anyway, so yeah, the numbers were down 1% from last year, but so 585,000, almost 400. A million, almost 400 million. That's the average. That's where, that's the average. But there was 9.9 million that tune in. But you know what's crazy? So almost 3.6 on the average, down 1% from last year, because of the French audience. But for the Jonas Brothers, it peaked at 4.2 or 4. That's crazy. Over 4 million. That's crazy. 4.2, I think it was. But so they were down 3%, but 1% from last year. But I guess at one time, there were 9.9 million people that tuned in at one time in the Grey Cup. That's unbelievable. That's fantastic again. 9.9, almost 10 million. About the same numbers as last year, I believe. It might have been a little higher in the tune-in, 9.9, but it was close to that. I think it was I don't know, but I'm giving you some pretty good accurate numbers, okay? So this is all off my cuff of my head. We're trying to remember this stuff. So we go into the second half after the halftime show, right? Which wasn't bad. It looked pretty good. And a lot of people tuned in. Jonas Brothers must be half popular. So anyway, let's get into the second half, which is crazy. Unbelievable CFL football at its best. Put the NFL, the outdoor arena football game, unbelievably overhyped and overrated, and same with their players. I mean, they got 36 Canadian players down there, so 26 starting. Come on, in the NFL. That's why the Canadian ratio has to go. And that's going to be my big push too, because you need to get rid of the Canadian ratio, get rid of the one-year contracts. They got to practice more, 4.5, at least 6, and then you might see if all Reds on roll. And we're going to have a new commissioner. And Bozy, you're out on your ass. You're fired. Yes, I'll talk about everything around in Bozy at the 100th Grey Cup. There's some interesting things that came out next session. It's going to be good. Anyway, so let's get in the second half. So let's do the second half. So here we go. Second half, 10-9. Argonauts get a kick the Rouge for a single point. It's 10-10. Okay? I'm just going to briefly, I wrote a few notes down because this is all off my memory, okay? Second half, yeah, there it is, 10-10. Okay? So here's a biggie, okay? At the 6 minute mark on the third quarter, okay? The Argonauts kick, punt, down the Whitehead on the 20-yard line. This is huge. There's some really huge. This is probably the biggest. And there were others too. The second half was nuts. It's crazy. Typical CFL. So many twists and turns. It was phenomenal. It's fantastic. Whitehead fumbles the ball on the 20-yard line. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? What a gift! The gods are definitely on the Argonauts' side, let me tell you. But proud to be Canadian. Look at that abbreviated Canadian, my Canada t-shirt there. I wear Canada Day, right? But proud to be Canadian, man. I love our game, but it's going to be a lot better with my CFL Reds on roll. A lot better with him Bozy out in his ass. You're on fire! And a lot better if they get the one-year contracts, get rid of them. And a lot better if they abolish the controlling, handcuffing, dictating Canadian ratio, eliminate it with their, like, controlling, like, they have control of the Canadian players, so it's the Canadian players, the majority of the vote. They got to bring them down. The new owners commission they got to shut them down, lock them out, get rid of the Canadian ratio, get them with their one-year contracts, make them practice a minimum of 6 hours, and bring my CFL Reds on roll. Then you got a product. Then you have some hell of a Grey Cup. Let me tell you. Anyway, so what happened? Arbuckle went to work the first play through a 17-yard touchdown pass. I think to Metel. I think the Argonauts. I think their first-round draft pick from Laval. Great, and he hurdled over a guy at the just at the one. That was fantastic. That was a fantastic, like that was a well-executed play. So all of a sudden, the Bombers are in trouble. It's like 16-10, I believe. It's 16-10 or 17-10. So yeah, because it was tied 10-10. Oh my God, that was something else. I was just jumping up and down. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, so at the 2:30, minute mark, I think in the third down, and the third, at 2:30 in the third quarter, okay, there was a crazy block. This was a huge play, and it just went all crazy because it was a spot on the foul call on the Bombers when they were supposed to get the ball, I think on their, like the Argonauts 20 or 25 or I don't know, or in the red zone. I don't know. It was way down there. Might have been around the 20 or so. You know, it's all off my head here, off my cup, but it was block kick. Oh my God, here we go. And it would have been tied 17-10. I think they probably would have punched it in and scored. But the Argonauts got a good defense, man, especially with McManus there. Anyway, so you know what happened? You're not going to believe it. And this is the ruling. This is the rule. A Bombers player pushed the Argonaut player when he tried it because on a fumble or like on a block kick, you got to allow both players to go to the ball to recover the ball. You can't push the guy off like the Argonaut got pushed off with a Bomber player because he was going to pounce on him first. But how stupid that was, because the Bombers stole, because it was third down, and they were punting the ball. The Argonauts, the Bombers still would have got the ball. That was a dummy. That's a dummy play, O'Shea. That's a dumb play, man, and it cost you because it was called a foul on the play, okay, on the punt return. I mean, the Argonauts get the ball 1st and 10, and man, oh man, was that a big play. Wow. Anyway, let's keep going here. So what happens here? Oh my God, spot on foul call. That's what it's called. But then what happened right after that is Jefferson. Big brute, you know how big, 6'7", like Arbuckle threw a pass and he intercepted it. He intercepted it. Can you imagine? So all hell was breaking loose. All hell was breaking loose. But make me sure I got this chronologically in order, okay? Okay, so interception by Jefferson. Okay, and this is actually, I believe, in the fourth quarter. Come on. I'm just writing some notes down here. I'm trying to remember what the hell happened. Anyway, this is just crazy what happened, and you figured, well, you know, like what's going to happen out of this? Well, the Bombers only get a field goal. All right, so they only get a field goal. So that's what I understand here. Let me see. I believe so. Yeah, because they got a field goal. So that's what came out of that. So here we go again. And Brady was trying to run the ball. He only had 11 carries. So then what happened was the Argonauts pranced down the field. You're not going to believe it, score another 17-yard touchdown to Brissett, a Canadian, got MVP, most valuable player, Canadian of the great 111th Grey Cup. A beautiful pass by Arbuckle, a strike, a bullet into the end zone, 70-yard pass, and now all of a sudden the score's 27-16. So that makes sense because they had 2 field goals from when there was 10-9, the Bombers. So all hell's breaking loose here. I'm trying to piece this together. I mean, it's really hard chronologically to piece together because it was all over the place. I mean, it was like everything happening at once so fast. It was nuts. So let me just see what happens next. Oh my God! And then I think it was a 3-minute. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure this out here. Around the 2:30, I think. Yeah, Claire's 2:30 of the third. Oh, that was the third quarter, by the way. I'm sorry about that. Okay, and then I'm getting it all mixed up. But anyway, put it together yourself. Go back and watch it because that's what I'm going to do when I get offset. It's all over the place. Okay, I'm sorry about that. But anyway, I think around the 2:30, but in the third quarter, I believe it was then. Claris hurt his finger and had to get 2 stitches in his finger. He got cut, so he was out of the game. And Wilson came in, right? So. And he threw almost a pick in the end zone, but that's how they ended up with a field goal, okay, to make 27-16. Anyway, so then all hell breaks loose. Because when Claris came back, he threw a bomb. So they got off, like I said, Brady, he only had 11 carries, and they figured because they thought the Argonauts had a weak secondary. So Claris with his finger, in the fourth, and all hell broke. It starts happening around the 7-minute, 6 in the fourth quarter. All hell broke loose, right into the last 4 minutes, in the 3-something left in the game, and all hell broke it. But we'll go back to when it first started. Okay, so when Claris came back in the fourth quarter, around the 7th, I think around the 7-minute mark. I'm not sure. Okay, don't quote me on this because I'm trying to remember everything in my head. I like to see anybody try to do that. Anyway, it was around then. I thought I wrote it down, but I got to get going because the time is flying here. So anyway, Claris throws this big bomb, okay, with his finger stitched up, and he had a glove on. He doesn't even practice with a glove on. That's a mistake. And it had like, when you talk about an arc, right? So it never had a 2-level arc. It was a 3-level arc. So they put it up in the air more so Lawler could catch it, being a taller receiver than Amos, the secondary guy. It used to be, talk about all the Stampeders. Come on. Like on the Argonauts went on this Grey Cup championship team is crazy. But anyway, what happened is Amos went up, an unbelievable acrobatic interception, and ran it back, way back to the 10-yard line or the 50, or in the red zone for sure. And they end up getting a field goal. They didn't get a touchdown. So I believe that's what happened. Or they might have. No, I don't think. I'm trying to remember. That's so confusing. I don't know. Everything was going on, but I think they got 3 points. Okay, but they might have got a touchdown. They might have got a touchdown. That's when they might have scored that touchdown. But I don't think so though. Oh yeah, here we go. Yes, that's when they got the touchdown. Yeah, that's when they got the touchdown. 70-yard touchdown to Brissett, right at the 6-minute mark from Amos interception. Yeah, so I'm wrong. I'm wrong on what happened prior. So what happened was. Claris cut his finger first, and that's what happened. They ended up getting a touchdown off that. So, okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm getting it all bunched up. I'm sorry, but maybe that's what it's interesting because it was all bunched up. And then all hell broke loose again because what happened is that the Argos got he threw this guy, Priester. Intercepted Claris for a touchdown, made it 34-16, and then there was another big interception by McManus, ran down. He almost got it in, I think 6 yards from the end zone, and then they punched him for another carry. He did play pretty good, some good run backs. He punched it in to make it 41, and then 60. But or let's see, 16 or 41 something. Anyway, it ended up being 41. 41-24 because they allowed, make it look better. They allowed, the referees were cheating by the whole game, by the way. They allowed what you call to get a touchdown. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the end to make it look better, right? Okay, 41-24. I don't know how. Look, no wonder I couldn't follow it. It was all over the place. In a way, I'm glad I did it that way. I'm glad to get you all mixed up too, because it was like all over the place. It was like happening so fast. Bang, 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 bang. It was nuts. It was nuts. So chronologically put that together, and for me to remember, it's almost impossible. But, sorry for the mistakes and so forth. But winding down to the last minute or so. So here's to the Toronto Argonauts, and I'm sorry I had to, chronologically I couldn't put it together. But it was that confusing. It was all over the place. It was, like, seriously, the twists and turns were enough to spin your head. And I had a few beer me. Anyway, so, and I'm having another one, and here's to the Toronto Argonauts 111th Grey Cup, and Art Buckle, the MVP, he deserved to get it. What a story, eh? And the Canadian, too, they got the Brissett, okay? So, here's to the Toronto Argonauts 111th Grey Cup champions, the Toronto Argonauts. Man, they're having a parade today at I think 11 Eastern time or 12 Toronto time, so I'm going to try to catch that. But I'm coming back to back with another session on Bozy, okay? And a stupid award he presented, Art Buckle. When I talk about that, it was an absolute disgrace, but I'll be right back, coming right back at you. Sorry for me getting it all jumbled up too much, but that's what the game was. It was a jumbled up Grey Cup, but a great Grey Cup, 100th Grey Cup. And congratulations, Toronto Argonauts, what a great triumph victory.